What's up, everybody? It's Joe from Empire Music, empiremusic.com in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here with another amazing Martin custom shop guitar. Check out empiremusic.com to see our entire selection of Martin guitars. Huge selection. We don't carry a million brands. We carry just a handful. We carry them super deep. So we're going to get you not only a great guitar, but the right guitar. We always want your trade-ins. And you know we're known for our full pro setup. We dial every guitar into its best playing capabilities to give you the best experience with that guitar. I always say, imagine if you were a touring artist and you showed up to the factory, how would Martin hand you this guitar? That's how we're delivering it to you. Now, you guys know we're one of 20 Martin custom expert dealers, one like worldwide, and one of, I think, 3 or 4 preferred online partners. So we have a really strong relationship with Martin. I've been to the factory 3 times this year in the first half of 2025, but this is a guitar that I'm excited to present that Justin and I were at the factory last year. It takes about a year and change to get these guitars moving. On a wood buying trip, we went to our wood locker, and our wood locker is a beautiful, huge section inside Martin's wood vault, where you go and you see the most incredible wood selection in our business by far, hands down. And the Martin Custom Shop 0028 with Honduran Rosewood was born in an Empire spec guitar. You know, when we go to the factory, we go for a handful of reasons. We go to learn more about ways to build great guitars with Martin. We definitely go to build guitars with wood selections, and we get an awesome opportunity to handle guitars. And since we do a lot of custom shop business, we get really unique opportunities. And we went out there last year, and Martin had about 50 sets of Honduran Rosewood, which is definitely one of the most sought after tone woods in the business. Also one of the hardest to source, and I think you're seeing that right now. A lot of demand for Honduran Rosewood, but there's none out there. They had about 50 sets, and we bought all 50 in design guitars. And sometimes we do straight ahead builds. Sometimes we do some really, unique, beautiful wood art pieces. It's like you can see all of our selection on the website. I love Honduran Rosewood because it is a wood that is often compared to Brazilian rosewood. It's more dense than East Indian rosewood, much more clean sounding. You get the bass, you get the power, but you get much more articulation, you get much more character, way more overtones. It's amazing. And we only did 10 in the natural. I think we did a handful in a burst finish. So check out the site for that. I'll show you the wood while I'm talking here. It is just absolutely gorgeous. It's just a really visually stunning guitar, but still super classic. What's great about an instrument like this is we're delivering, and kind of the point of it is that we're doing sometimes line extensions. Like, hey, yeah, you can get a 0028 from Martin. It's a great guitar. Imagine if you could super power it. Imagine if you could make it more vintage sonically and have that opportunity. And we're filling in that blank in the line, and they're really popular. We'll get into kind of like the full specs of this guitar because it's important to understand why we choose this model. We're not just picking wood and slapping, hey, just give us a 0028 for no reason without any thought and design. There's a lot of thought in the design process. They have an amazing design lab there. We spend a lot of time in. I spent countless hours in there this year working through wood densities, flexing and sorting the woods, making sure we're making the best tone wood choice for the guitar. What's really cool about their wood library is when they bring us this Honduran Rosewood, their experts have already said, hey, listen, this piece needs to be a dreadnought. This piece needs to be a 00. This piece can be a 00, or a single O. They're doing this because they are flexing it. They're telling you the density, the flexibility, the strength of the wood, how structurally sound it is for a specific body shape. And this is really important. This happens for the spruce tops too that come out of the custom shop. A production guitar, there's a pile of East Indian rosewood, and if they build a D28, they build a D28. If they build a D35, that's cool. If they build a 0028, that's cool too. There's not an individual sorting process. While Martin sources great wood, I mean, just amazing wood. It's just, imagine if you took every effort to find the best material for every single guitar, and that's what we're doing at the custom shop. So a really great way to make a more profound instrument. 0028 is obviously a super popular guitar. We've been working with them for a while on custom shops, and last year we were out there, we knew that the Golden Era bracing package was coming to the refresh line. We had already been using Golden Era a lot in the design, so it's a natural landing place. So you have a beautiful spruce top with Golden Era bracing, which is a more deeply carved 5/16 inch brace that kind of marries the The width of the brace being a little bit wider gives you that clarity and articulation. The deep carves give you tons of power. The golden era bracing is something we love because it makes the guitar sound more bold, definitely more vintage inspired. They're airier, they're more powerful, they're bassier, and it's a way to keep the guitar sounding clean. With Honduran, you're getting all that density. And imagine if you have a 00028, you've played one in the store, great. What's great about this guitar, and you're going to hear through my demo, is that when you strum through it, the bass notes are so powerful, but they much more stay in their own lane. They don't get garbled up. A stock model sounds more muddled comparatively, and there's no doubt about that. And I'll guarantee you, it's like what vintage players love about Brazilian is that's one of the main features, the clarity. If you go into a studio and you want to record, your engineer is going to love you forever because the guitar sounds so clean. There's no work to kind of separate all those frequencies out. It's doing it on its own for you. And even though this is an orchestra body shape, you can push this guitar powerfully without it breaking up, which is amazing. And obviously it can play lightly as well, which is really, really cool. You have a mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard. All the golden era appointments are provided to this guitar. The authentic fingerboard thickness, the golden era modern neck profile, which is a very comfortable neck profile with a little, we took off the thickness of the fingerboard. We've added it around this neck. We have a low heel profile, which is very, very comfortable. Obviously the neck flute on the back. We have open gear tuners. We have the inline nut, all those great features. But I want to get to kind of the decision-making process in this guitar, because we'll get someone and say, hey, why did you pick this 000 over an OM? And this is where I think our expertise doing a lot of customs come in. So here's what I know. A 000 guitar has a 24.9 inch scale, right? It's a little bit shorter scale. Shorter scale guitars have more power on the bottom end. They're bassier, right? They also have a little bit of a slink. So the playability is kind of nice because you get a little less string tension. But the real thinking behind this was you have a guitar that is super clean on the bottom, is meant to be powerful. But by keeping it in a 24.9 000 body shape, we're enhancing that bass. So we're giving you more bottom end because we know you want that in his players, right? If we go to an OM guitar, standard scale, it's gonna be tighter on the bottom end. This has still got that woofiness, almost like a kind of like a dreadnought performance bass in the orchestra body, right? Which is really, really cool. So we really think through that entire design process, from hand sorting the woods for the bodies, from making sure that they're obviously structurally sound. We're picking the most powerful feeling, the most flexible of all the guitars that have been sorted. All the woods have been sorted for the body shape. Then when we pick these scale lengths, there's a lot of thought that goes into that, because not that an OM28 would be a bad version of this guitar, but it cleans up what you might be missing in the bass if we went to an OM, right? If we went to an OM, it might feel a little stiffer. This guitar has a very round, full bass, which is pretty incredible. So if you watch any of my videos, you know I like to highlight two parts of playing. I like to do the dynamic range of the instrument, and I like to do the mids of the guitars. These are two things that I think if you are a world-class guitar player or if you are a novice guitar player, these are things that we should be significantly thinking about when we buy an instrument. Everyone's wants and needs might be a little bit different, but these are things that you should really, really identify. I think all of us would want the widest dynamic range that sounds good, right? I think that's something that we could agree on. We don't want a guitar that only sounds good played really, really hard, or only sounds good played really, really soft. I mean, that would be pretty narrow. And there are, now if you have, I would say the crayon box. If you have the 256 crayons in your crayon box, you can have 18 shades of blue. That's cool. And then maybe you go for that. But for many of us, like I have probably 12 to 20 guitars, somewhere in that range. It's just like, I don't want a guitar that only does fingerstyle blues in an O shape. I mean, I want something to have more versatility, because you don't know what you're going to want to do with that instrument long term. You're going to want to be able to play it. Obviously, it's got a purpose, but it allows for flexibility in playing styles. So having a dynamic range that sounds good is really, really important. And then probably my number one most important thing is the mids of the guitar, because this discusses balance. Does the guitar sound clean or not? Are the mids heard or not? Rosewood guitars, as you know, have extra bass, extra treble, reduced mids. The Central American Rosewoods, your Hondurans, Guatemalans, Brazilians, and the South American with the Brazilian, obviously, but it's like those Central and Southern America Brazilians with those heavy densities, harder, they're giving us a much more balanced experience, which is incredible. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the holy grail. Extra bass, power, but all the mids. And I think you're gonna hear that here, which makes this guitar really compelling. So let's go ahead and do the dynamic range, and then we'll do the mids of the guitar, and we'll get back and see what you think. So a couple of things: profound sustain, incredible power. And the last time through picking through the notes, I was picking so hard, I flubbed the seat. I mean, it's like I can't even pick at that attack to, I mean, to accuracy, like especially when you're just like, it's not, it had more headroom to give individually picked. But the yin to the yang there is that with a light touch, the notes are really full and beautiful and have a lot to say. So it's not a thin sounding guitar when you play it lightly. It has a lot of character, and then you open it up. But I just like that open D string, you're just plucking that note and picking through, and it just wants to sing. It's wild. I mean, tons of sustain. The mids of the guitar lights out. I mean, holy smokes. It's just like, what's really great about that is a ton of body. It feels much, even though it's more dense, it feels almost warmer because you can hear all the notes as opposed to like the sludginess that you might get out of another tone would, and really, really boastful and useful. So you can play all the way up and down the neck, absolutely, and hear this guitar speak, which is why we build these guitars, right? This is for someone who's got a discerning ear, who wants that Rosewood experience, but they want all the overtones, they want all the power, but they really want to keep their guitar sounding clean in a super comfortable, easy to play design. I mean, it's an Empire Music exclusive spec. It's a 0028 with Honduran Rosewood back and sides. We handpicked it at the factory. Only 10 in natural, a handful in the burst top. So check those out. I'm on the site. You can reach out to us through chat. You can call me at the shop, 412-343-5299. I'm happy to walk you through any of these guitars. Our goal is always to get you the right guitar. We make all these guitars instead of, I would say if you go to our website and you hover over the brands, there's not 275 brands. I mean, some sites you go to and you go over brands and it's pages and pages of brands. You can't do what we're doing, which is our goal is to give you an immersive experience with each brand that we stock. And in Martin & Martin Custom Shop, we've colored all the way through the line. We've filled gaps and we've created new sonic experiences to help you find exactly what you want. You're gonna get not only a great guitar, but the right one for you. We're gonna dial it in with the Pro Spec. We of course want your trades. We have a trade-in portal on the site, so you can hit us up and tell us about your trade-ins if you wanna do that. This is an amazing instrument. We will get you an amazing opportunity to own an amazing Martin guitar. This is amazing. This is so fun to play. It's a 0028 Honduran Rosewood back and sides. Check out the site. If you haven't subscribed to our channel already, please do. We're always putting out cool content, and you're gonna continue to see our Martin Custom Shop offerings delivering amazing sonic choices for you. hit us up. We'll find you a great guitar here at Empire. Thanks for watching.